The Chiefs got a big win yesterday over the Baltimore Ravens 37-20, and we asked you guys what were your questions, comments, and concerns going into week 5. Let's talk about it.
If at any time you're enjoying the content, hit that like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get it started here with a comment from Robert. He said, first game in a long time that I wasn't pulling my hair out in nervousness. The Ravens defense was super injured, but Chiefs defense made Lamar look like a backup again. Finally, a chill Sunday watching the Chiefs dominate a game. Been too long. Damn right it has, Robert. It was nice to actually relax and watch a football game that the Chiefs had in hand.
Robert, we all felt what you felt. It was nice to actually watch a game and not be super stressed out, not have to pop an extra medication for the blood pressure. A lot of people are coming back to the Chiefs, only won this game because of the defense being so mangled up for the Ravens, but nobody was using these same excuses when Josh Allen beat them in week 1. Nobody was using these same excuses when the Lions put up 38 on them just last week. So for some reason, the Chiefs can do the same thing as others, and it's a discredit. I'm not down with that. And look, we went 15-2 last year. We're not a stranger to bad, injured teams. We got through it, and they need to get through it because it shows that they're not a championship quality team. Next up, we got our boy E.T. He says, only one concern. What's going on with Harrison Butker? Didn't matter today, but we can't be missing kicks in the playoffs.
E.T., I think a lot of Chiefs Kingdom's kind of wondering what's going on with Butker right now. He's missed at least one field goal in the last 4 games, but this is not anything that we haven't seen before. Mike will talk a little bit more in a minute about what he's done in his past, but let's just talk about Butker as a whole. He has a career 88.4% field goal percentage, which makes him 4th all-time in accuracy. And you mentioned the playoffs. It gets even better in the playoffs. Butker has a 88.9% field goal percentage in the playoffs, including 6 field goals over the 50-yard mark. And if we take that on to the Super Bowl, Butker's 9 for 10 all-time in the Super Bowl with field goals, and he's made every one of his extra points. Although Butker only has a 67.3% field goal percentage outside of 50 yards, he does hold the franchise record with longest field goal of 62 yards. Also, he's freaking clutch. He's got that ice-cold blood in his veins. That's why we all love him. He's made 6 field goals in his playoff career that has either tied the game or won the game for the Chiefs.
So in front of Butker, the most accurate kicker is Cameron Dicker and Eddie Pinheiro. Justin Tucker doesn't kick in the league anymore. And amongst Dicker and Pinheiro, Pinheiro's played 73 games and Dicker's only played 49. That is roughly about half of the amount of games that Harrison Butker's actually played. So there's a lot of time for them to miss too and go through slumps. Speaking of slumps, we've been here before with Butker. Do you guys remember back in 2022 when you had Dustin Colquitt come out and make some big deal over Tommy Townsend not being able to hold the football correctly?
Former teammate of yours, Dustin Colquitt, has some comments. Anything you want to respond to?
Got to make the kick, you know.
He also had a little bit of an ankle injury, and when he come back, he ended up missing 6 field goals throughout that season. But every point in the season where we needed a clutch field goal, specifically the playoffs, he hit it. So once again, until Butker actually starts missing field goals when it counts in the playoffs, in crunch time, I'm not going to be concerned, and you guys shouldn't either. Don't let the fearmongers over on X and on YouTube scare you.
Moving on, we got Yow Prod says, what's up, guys? Love the content you're putting out. Thanks for the gas, Yow Prod. Question for this week would be, how was Jawaan Taylor's performance besides not getting penalties for once in his life? Was the pass blocking up to par?
Yeah, appreciate the question. The final numbers are not exactly out, but I did go back and watch just a little bit more of the film. From what I could tell, Patrick Mahomes didn't really play under pressure at all yesterday. Again, the defensive line for the Ravens was pretty decimated, and there were times when they just sent the house, 0 blitz, things like that, and it got frustrating because Mahomes would call it out and then not adjust the play, not adjust his blocking scheme. He would just snap the ball, run, and throw it out of bounds. So that's a little weird. We feel like Mahomes should be able to audible, do things like that, be more creative there, but I guess he doesn't really have the flexibility we thought he does with the play calling. As for Jawaan Taylor, he looked to hold up pretty well. I think Creed Humphrey had an amazing game. Kingsley Suamataia didn't have a single pressure all game, and that is huge. Josh Simmons looked good. Trey Smith looked good. I'm assuming Jawaan Taylor looked pretty good too. The biggest part of it, 0 penalties. That's a huge win for Jawaan Taylor. He's only had 17 games in a Chiefs uniform that he hasn't been called for a penalty, so that's a big win.
Yeah, we all know that Jawaan Taylor can be a pretty damn good right tackle as long as he can keep those flags from flying. So it's good to see him minimize that. I think that's going to be a focal point of his game going forward. The coaches have been asked about it by the press, all kinds of fans throwing fits and everything. I think they're finally hearing it, and they know they have to address it. I think Jawaan Taylor is going to try to keep it a lot tighter going forward.
Up next, we got a comment from M. Oxier70. She says, I watched your postgame Monday morning. I got to give a shout out to Chiefs Kingdom for getting those 2 delay of game calls. Chiefs Kingdom was loud and proud. Let's freaking go.
Hell yeah, baby. Chiefs Kingdom was super loud. You can even hear it on TV, man. That place was rocking. It would have been awesome to be there. It was a great game. I'm sure the crowd had a lot of fun. It was probably super loud, and it definitely had an effect on that offense. They were kind of unraveling anyway, and then the crowd was so loud they got those delay of game penalties. It just kept getting worse and worse for the Ravens. But shout out Chiefs Kingdom for showing out and being loud.
So every time a team comes into Arrowhead, they got to face the Chiefs and the crowd. Just yesterday, it took a toll on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Lamar was pressured on 48.1% of his dropbacks. That's the highest pressure rate he's faced in a game since week 4 of 2023. And on those dropbacks, Lamar Jackson was actually only 4 of 9 for 60-some yards and an interception. He didn't do very well. We seen him go to the sideline. Faked an injury a little bit, if you ask me. But the Chiefs defense has been awesome. Over the past 6 quarters, they've had 4 takeaways, 3 picks, and a fumble recovery, plus 4 sacks and only allowed 2 touchdowns. So shout out to that defense. Shout out Spags for coming up with these fire game plans.
Moving on to our boy Justin here. He says, where's the panic and fire Andy Reid? We're doomed idiots at. Get out of here. Mike, the panic button has been unhit by a lot of people now. They got a little too crazy after the first 3 weeks of football. Chiefs won last week, but they looked really bad in the first half. Do you think everybody can breathe easier now, knowing that Xavier Worthy's back and Rashee Rice is coming back, starting to look like the old Chiefs?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people still wasn't pleased about the Chiefs in the red zone. A lot of people still didn't like some of the play calls. A lot of people still wanted to see Jalen Royals play a lot more. There were plenty of things to go around. I think people thought Andy's play calling wasn't the best at times. And the big one is that the Ravens defense was decimated and the Chiefs didn't actually beat the Ravens. Surprise, surprise, the Chiefs didn't get any credit for something. So the offense looked a lot better yesterday. We can all relax about that. Xavier Worthy was a big piece. And you've seen how they were able to use him yesterday. It opened up the field. Mahomes took more deep shots. He didn't stop throwing to Tyquan Thornton, which was awesome. So we got all that going for us. Hollywood's got some nice work in. Juju's got some nice work in. It's going to look great when Reid gets back here in a couple weeks. Everybody can chill out a little bit. Let's not fire Andy Reid. Let's not go crazy. Let's just calm down. And speaking of people trying to downplay the Chiefs' win yesterday, good old Bill comes along and says, going down, making excuses, haven't recovered since Super Bowl loss. You played a bad team, LOL. Good one, Bill.
LOL, Bill, LOL.
Whoa.
Laugh out loud. Ha ha.
Bill's so smart.
So funny, Bill. You're so funny.
Bill, you're such a good guy. I bet you're a blast at parties.
I just love Bill's sense of humor. But yeah, there's a lot of Bills out there trying to discredit the Chiefs for what they were able to do yesterday. Of course, their defense was a little banged up, but the offense needed that to get rolling. I'll take that as a win. We got Xavier Worthy back. It was moving along. I thought they looked good regardless. They looked much better than they have all season and maybe even last season. But let's talk about the elephant in the room here. The Ravens were not a bad team. They were the 3rd best offense in football, just behind Buffalo and the Detroit Lions after 3 weeks. But the Chiefs shut that shit down, son. Lamar Jackson didn't get much of anything done. He threw for less than 150 yards with 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Derrick Henry didn't even rush for 50 yards. That defense just absolutely slaughtered the number 3 offense in the entire NFL. So why don't you just take everything I just said, Bill, lube it up real good, turn it sideways, and shove it up your candy ass. And let's talk about Mike Hawk here real quick, who said, guess who ate Chief-shaped chicken nuggets for dinner, baby? Arrowhead Nugs.
So glad, so happy for you that you got some Chiefs-shaped chicken nuggets, bro. That's the best news of the day. Forget Lamar Jackson's faked injury. Forget the defense balling out. Forget the offense coming to life. This guy has some chicken nuggets shaped like the Chiefs Arrowhead logo, and that's a win.
Look, if it's Chiefs football season, the only thing we want is a season filled with touchdowns from number 15 and some good barbecue.
So we understand that you're like us. That's what you want too. And so we're here to support a local Kansas City staple in the barbecue capital of the world, which is Kansas City, baby. Zarda BBQ.
We absolutely love Zarda. They've been nothing but generous to us and generous to you, the all chiefed up crew. We keep their sauces on hand 365 days a year. I put this stuff on everything. And we here at ACU proudly support their mission in the community and their mouthwatering food.
Right now, our boy hailing from the University of Louisville, Ashton Gillotte, is teaming up with Zarda to bring you his very own signature sandwich called the Takeaway. It is absolutely a barbecue sandwich lover's dream. This one-of-a-kind taste sensation starts with a generous portion of Zarda's award-winning limited reserve burnt-ends, melted pepper jack cheese, juicy pulled pork, thin sliced ham, and Ashton's favorite Zarda barbecue sauce, all piled high on a toasted Roma bun. But it's not finished there. This sandwich has a surprise waiting for you. They're adding Creole seasoning to kick it up a notch, and we're getting hungry just talking about it.
And speaking of community, Zarda is donating a portion of the proceeds from every Ashton Gillotte-inspired sandwich sold to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kansas City. So what a great cause, and a good way to show your support for Ashton, Zarda, ACU, and your community.
So don't worry about cooking and cleaning tonight. Make it a Zarda kind of night and go grab some barbecue from either of their 2 locations. The KC Takeaway is also available at all area Hy-Vee Market grill locations throughout the Chiefs season from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily.
And you will not regret it. Zarda is legendary. And be sure to let them know All Chiefed Up sent you their way. You guys get down in the comments and let us know what you have to say about each comment and question that we addressed today. Also, if there's something we didn't talk about, put it down there. Maybe we'll talk about it later on. Also, if you think Bill's a freaking slapnut, hit that like button, hit the hype button, and subscribe to our channel. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.